Hey everyone, this is a late night live stream. My original intent was to just not do one on Tuesday, just to recharge my batteries. And I admit that it was a snap decision at that to do that. But, you know, this news had to be discussed, and I have to be completely honest. I'm really pissed off that when I was told the news about the A's announcement, I was also told, and I won't say by who, hey, don't put out anything yet until tomorrow. And I argued with the person I was talking about, saying, you know what, this is going to come out today because I've been around and I know, and I was about to just simply drop it anyway. But out of respect for my friend, not to mention the fact that he was really agitated that I was going to just do it, and it only takes a few seconds for me to put out news, I decided to hold off. Thinking, I have a feeling this is going to wind up someplace else, and sure enough it did. So now it's, at this point, incumbent upon me to really go all out and make this the conversation of the night, rolling into the next day, leading up to the press conference and event at 3:30 with A's fans, which I will be there live streaming. And I will start the live stream actually earlier than that. So stay tuned to this space around 2:30, thereabouts. Okay? So apologies, for that. But also, and something else too, it is really important to, when you can, invest here, because if I do this and I'm spent, your investments really keep me going. And lately, with the hurricane as well as everything else that I've dealt with, I needed a day to stop. And to be honest, Monday was great, but it wasn't the normal level of production or investment or visits that I'm used to. So I thought, well, maybe just hold off on Tuesday and really then go on and put something out there when I know people are going to show up. This is different, however. This is really important to the city of Oakland's future and has to be discussed right now. And then we're going to discuss it again tomorrow, because it has enormous long-term implications for the future of the Oakland Raiders, given what is not happening in Las Vegas as I speak. Okay, hey Joseph True, hey Cedric, hey Steve Collins, hey John Marks, hey Crawford, hey Hennessy, and hey Johnny Benica, hello from New York City, hashtag Forever Oakland. You are up late. Thank you very much. Hey John Agee, how are you? And saw your Facebook notification, and I will respond. Just give me a little time. Only takes a push of a button, as they say. But I'm going to edit this video real quick and tweet it out, and then discuss what this means for the future of sports in Oakland. First of all, bravo to Dave Cobble for his decision. For really not so much the decision. I really love the idea of Howard Terminal. A beautiful vista. But for at least getting it done and getting the A's into a position where they can actually have or dream of a sports future in Oakland. I think that's enormous. It really is. The Oakland A's new ballpark at Peralta Laney College is, I really thought we were going to see Howard Terminal, but Howard Terminal has a great many challenges. My guess is that Howard Terminal did not come through because the city was unwilling to do redevelopment. Now, I hope I'm wrong, and I'm going to ask Dave Carwell about that tomorrow. Redevelopment, tax increment financing would have made the Howard Terminal site, pencil out, without question. Why this city, and I'm forecasting that Cabo may have said the city didn't want to do it, why the city didn't want to do redevelopment, this particular leadership in Oakland, I don't care what the reason is. I don't know what the reason is right now. There cannot be a good reason. There just can't, okay, at all. Just can't be a good reason. I can't imagine them coming up with one because they don't really understand the implications of talking about this particular administration of the use of redevelopment, how to appropriately do redevelopment, let alone what's possible. This is so we're gonna have to. I'm anxious to see if the noism that has infected Oakland came into this project and resulted in this site selection outcome. It is, I have to be candid, the less exciting of the two options. It just is. Why? Because it's near the lake, further in, not on the lake. It's in the middle of a neighborhood that arguably will become amazingly gentrified because of this ballpark, at a time when gentrification is a major problem. So why this happened when when Jack London Square was more ready to absorb the economic perturbations that would happen after the construction and opening of the ballpark is beyond me. It really is. So I'm not vehemently opposed to this site. Having the A's still at the Coliseum would have been, to me, worse, because it would have eliminated any sports flexibility we have. Now we've got it. So I want to get your initial reactions. I'm going to go right now to reading them. First, let me edit this as I said I was going to do, and I want to get this preliminary thoughts out and jog your thinking a bit, and then read what you are commenting on as I speak. And I'm going right back to the watch page. I'm going to tweet this out and put this on LinkedIn and every place else, and make sure that it's thoroughly distributed. And those of you who are around, if you take this, please put it on your Facebook page. Please put it on your Facebook page. If you can't invest, at least do that. Put it on your Facebook page right this minute, and let's get the late what am I trying to say? Let's get it out right now. Just got an email from my guy at the A's who says, just the beginning, big news at the AM. I was telling him I was not happy that Dave Covell got it out before I did. So I'm going to answer the email back real quick and see if I can engineer something here, negotiate something here in the way of perhaps an early morning interview. Yeah, that'd be cool. And I got Raiders. I'm putting out this hashtag Raiders, hashtag NFL. There, okay. And then I'm going to put it up again, hashtag. This one time I'm going to do hashtag Raider Nation. Raider Nation. And then I'll go and read your. Let me answer this email I got from my guy at the A's real quick. One moment, please. Oh, one more share. I'll put it over at LinkedIn as I said I was going to do. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. This is, see my computer? Oh, sorry about that. I had to remember this thing was tethered to the phone. My now not quite obsolete iPhone 6S, considering the introduction of the iPhone 8, 8S, and iPhone 10, right? Okay. power, battery the power, combine the speed. There. Sorry about the drop C's, folks, but you know, we've all survived. Okay, we have all survived. Now, I'll answer this email real quick and say big news at AM. Say mass, press conference. Conference. What time? I'm should be there. Okay. Got that. So I'll get to his. He'll answer me back. Now, let me get to your statements. Now I'm going to go back and read what you wrote. Starting with, hey, Coog Snipe, and also, by the way, one other item of import, as I always encourage people to do when they are around, please, I really do request and ask that you, in fact, you know what? This is double night again, okay? Invest. Double night, double share night. Any amount, $2, whatever, $1, I don't care. It's double shares night for investors. Okay. Coog Snipe, great to see you. Steve Collins, fasten your seatbelts. What will the future hold? Donald Richardson, we have not seen you in a long time. Welcome. John Marks says, hey, Coog Snipe. Steve Collins, Barry Lee, how you doing? John Marks says, could Howard Terminal be used for the Oakland Raiders? You know, John, that is a novel idea. But the Raiders want, look, it's not, we have to stop and think. The Coliseum is ready. Howard Terminal is not. And why put the Raiders through what essentially would be Las Vegas 2 with Howard Terminal? Because you have a land there that the A's chose not to deal with, that's owned by the Port of Oakland, for reasons we'll find out more about tomorrow, but I know it has to do with $150 million of infrastructure costs, and I have to believe the city is not going to help them pay for it. I have to believe that's out there, and I have to believe that redevelopment did not enter the conversation, which really says a lot of bad things about this administration in terms of its handling development and catalyzing development. That's not good, okay? Don't want to get too far off that track. But the bottom line is, we know the Coliseum is a proven site for sports, and particularly the A's and the Raiders. Why push the Raiders someplace else just because? No. The Coliseum now will be available by 2023 for the Oakland Raiders. Actually, 2023. That is when the A's new stadium will be ready at Peralta. So that gives the Raiders enough time to really, jettison the whole Vegas issue, because they're coming up on 2023 anyway, right? With the delays. Come back here. They don't have to concern themselves with the cost issues that exist in Vegas and get started. And you know what? We can wind up with a scenario where Oakland has conceivably 2 new stadiums opening the same year. That is a scenario that's possible. That really is. Think about it, okay? So, I'll go on. Now, one at Peralta, the other at Coliseum. Now, so Silver and Black says, let's go Oakland. Steve Collins says, hey, Coog Snipe, tell Christopher hello. And Coog Snipe says, I will tell Mini-Me tomorrow. You said hello. I call him genius. Christopher, hello for me, and he was fantastic yesterday. And Johnny Binka says, because I don't live in Oakland, can someone explain why it's good the A's are off the Coliseum site? Yes, I can do that. The reason why it's good that the A's are off the Coliseum site, Mr. Ben Keba? Is that correct? Thumbs down or whatever. Ben Keba? The reason why it's good that the A's will be off the Coliseum site is that it allows for the city to go back to the Raiders and the NFL and say, we have this Coliseum site ready for you. We understand you're having issues in Vegas, but this is ready for you to use as you wanted without the land division. That's huge. Because the whole reason why the Raiders and the NFL selected Vegas, ostensibly, was because the city and the county did not offer them the land, and they wanted the land. They didn't want to split it with the A's either. Well, that problem is gone. Now, really, the A's should have saved us a lot of trouble, and the city could have saved us a lot of trouble, too, by just going ahead and doing it, back in March. But they didn't. Now we see the money pit that has developed in Vegas that the Raiders have to deal with. And it's not going to get any better, folks. It's only going to get worse. So there's your explanation. Joseph Jones. Joseph, how you doing? Says, will this get Mark Davis back to the table? I think it could. I really do. Silver and Black Oakland says, Howard Terminal is not a good site too far away from BART and downtown. Well, I disagree with that because, well, when you develop that Howard Terminal with the offices that would be added and the other types of free, able to alter real estate space there, as well as the ballpark, it would perfectly fill in an underdeveloped area of Oakland's downtown that's on the waterfront. And so perfectly aligned that if you go to the Alameda Antique Show that's owned by Alan Michaud on a Sunday, and you go out to that outer street that's near the cove, you go in this direction toward the bay, that's Allen's Antique Mart. But Howard Terminal, you can see, if you look back in this direction, you see the Oakland skyline. Howard Terminal, that shore, that's right in your face. That's where the ballpark would be. So if you've ever been to Allen's Antique Mart and looked in that direction at Oakland, that was the site the A's gave up for Peralta. And they had a reason for it. And I'm doubling down on my statement, my bet, that it had something to do with the city not willing to use redevelopment tax increment financing to help with the project. I'm betting on that. So, I'll continue. And it also may be, as well, that there are other matters that come into play. The proximity to downtown. Well, let's look at it another way. The Peralta Laney College site is also part of downtown. When we had our redevelopment boundary, we considered that part of the outer edge of downtown, right where Laney was. The redevelopment boundary stopped right before Laney College at Oak Street, okay? And where they're talking about the ballpark, that's 4 the long blocks further toward the south from that point. And that area is close to the lake, but not so close to the lake that it completely alters the ambiance, which, might not be such a bad thing if you want a waterfront ballpark. And not only that, there is the estuary does run by it, okay? The other issue about that property, that location, is that it's easier theoretically to get to the Nimitz Freeway from there, by far, than Howard Terminal. And that is one advantage that Peralta Laney College has over Howard Terminal, is the proximity. Well, no, let me take that back. Yeah, I will say that. The proximity to a ready entry ramp. Howard Terminal's near the Nimitz, but it's not at a point where the access with the off ramp is right next to it. Now, as far as BART, you're quite correct. Laney College BART is right there at the ballpark. So it's much better. It's much better from that perspective. So you start grading out the two properties. Yeah, Laney College performs better. Now, you might wonder where all this came from. There's an original study that was paid for by Oakland City Attorney John Russo in 2001. Howard Terminal didn't rank out well, was actually the number one site that was selected is now Uptown Apartments at 22nd and Telegraph, right next to what will be Uber headquarters. That's the one everybody wanted, but Jerry Brown killed it. The number two site was, after that, was the, if memory serves, was actually the Laney College, and then number three was the Coliseum. And there was a fourth site, number four, which I believe was a variation of what was at Jack London, but down by J.W. Sorrell's property further down on Embarcadero. And then number five was Howard Terminal. And the reason why Howard Terminal was number five had to do with the land cost issue. Then it was something like $130 million to build the infrastructure there alone. And that was far in excess of any other site that was being looked at. And so it made Howard Terminal a liability. But there are people who were really in love with the waterfront venue. It was very much like AT&T Park, and there was a lot of Me Tooism in that, which I initially was not for, but then started to later warm up to. At first, I was vehemently opposed to Howard Terminal because I believe that the Uptown site was better. All right, now let me get to your comments. We've got Laney. Silver Black says the Laney College site is dope, but yes, the rents in the area are going to skyrocket. And Barry Lee says, Johnny, because of the A's moving, frees up the stadium for the Raiders to stay in Oakland. John Mark says, I hope so, Joseph Jones. And then Silver and Black Oak says, the real Oakland against gentrification. And Michael Sims says, do you think the Raiders will stay? I think the possibility of the Raiders staying is better than it has been in a long time. And that's just the situation is set up for them now. It just takes poor leadership to basically ruin this possibility. S. Barbara Kane says, will Chinatown still be on the map? Yes. It's not Chinatown from your point of view. Laney College is here, okay? Lake Merritt starts here, okay? This is Laney, and the Peralta site is over here. Chinatown is over here. Downtown Oakland is over there, all right? This is north. That's south. This is San Francisco over here, off to New York over in that direction, all right? So, now, John Mark says Howard Terminal is better. Richard Height says Laney was a terrible spot. The 16.7 acres would be the smallest site in baseball. It's surrounded by residences and too far from any sort of extras like bars and entertainment. And, hey, Richard, where I would disagree with you is that there are bars and entertainment just about 4 blocks. You go past the Oakland Museum, which is nearby, and you get into an area along Oak Street and Alice. When you get to Alice Street, 14th and Alice in that area. Yeah. You got the Ruby Room over there. You have a sports bar. And then not only that, because of the baseball stadium construction, it will catalyze more development of uses of that type around it. So I don't see this as so far away that you would have that situation. I can't see that at all. And not only that, I don't see just the ballpark itself being developed. I see other uses adding to it. A ballpark village, okay? So I can't agree with you there. Johnny Pinkett says, Barry Lee, thanks for the info. But isn't it too late for Mark Davis already committed to Las Vegas? No. In fact, it's not too late because, first of all, remember, the non-relocation agreements have not been signed, right? The Raiders haven't even signed the documents that transfer the land that they bought to the stadium authority. So it's not too late. It isn't too late for the Raiders to engineer a way out of this deal. It's not too late at all. So, John Mark says, ouch, talking about the fact that I dropped, my phone. And we have now, oh, by the way, welcome to Zinni62 Live. Late night, we're talking about the Athletics' decision to locate their new ballpark at Peralta Laney College site. And I have a lot to say about that, but I want to read what you're saying as well. And Rick Rice has a Crawford 371 says, will the media bombard Mr. Davis with questions of this situation? Does a bear crap in the woods? Barry Lee, Zinni, would be speaking at the JPA meeting like you did last time? I'm not sure about that. And I haven't even thought of it. And so we have, let's see here. Rick Rice has making fun of my Zinni V-neck. Well, he's not making fun of it. Crawford says, could the A's move to AT&T Park for a temporary site while the Raiders control the Coliseum site? I don't think it would happen like that. The A's would play at the Coliseum, and if the Raiders decide to stay, at the time it's constructed, the Raiders would have to figure out a place to play, which I suppose then Levi Stadium could come into play, right? Under that circumstance, or Cal Berkeley. As far as the Giants, I have to ask the San Francisco Giants, and in particular Larry Baer, what his take is on that. So I'm not going to assume for them that that's going to happen. However, I do believe that if the price is right, the Giants would take more than a second look at the idea. If the price was right. And that would depend a lot on what the price was. Now, we've got, let's see here. Now, will Mark Davis, John Mark says, will Mark Davis come to the table and negotiate with Oakland? And that's the second question. Yes, I believe he will. I believe he will. I believe he'll turn around and take a look at this. S. Barber Crate says, if it's brought to him, says, how do you feel about Nate Miley? Nate Miley, you said, you wrote Nate Riley. Nate is a good friend of mine. Now, Bruce Lynn says, Fresno in the house. Kook Snipe says, Zinni, need to talk about Raffle. I want to start Thursday. Got it. Thank you. Johnny says, barely agreed. I want Oakland and San Diego to join St. Louis in a lawsuit against the NFL. And S. Barber Crane says, Dave Cavell is the right man for all of this. I completely agree. And I do ask, invest whatever you can, by the way. Now, we've got Lonely on Top says 559 at Blue Lens. ML Scott is in the house. How you doing? Now, we've got Crawford says, I answered that one regarding Crawford in the media. And 332 Assassin asks, what is going on with the Colford relocation delay in Vegas? And before I get to that, now, Silver and Black says, yeah, Zinni, it's by the rock wall in Alameda, I know. And so, I'm not going to repeat that about John Marks. I will not repeat anything that's insulting of Mark Davis. Period. I'm going to say this, I'm going to go on a rant. You cannot root for the Raiders and like the on-the-field product, which was the responsibility of Mark Davis, and then turn around and make fun of him. I don't understand this desire to attack people personally in business with this stuff. It doesn't make any sense. If the man winds up staying here and getting the right deal, you're going to love him all over again. So what's the point of doing that? It just really bothers me. And you're my friend and everything, so I'm exercising the right. Why do stuff like that? I'm not going to get a full-throated conversation about it. I'm just saying, come on, okay? We can be classy here. Now, all right. I just like, God. And you're a better man than that. All right? So, I think, yes. So anyway, or I'm demanding that you be a better man than that. Anyway, now, as far as the culvert, the delay, first of all, the Army Corps of Engineers is not even out of its fiscal year. And so, because it's not out of its fiscal year, they have to get approval to begin to discuss, to begin the actual planning work, drawings and everything, to design a new culvert, a new drainage ditch. Folks, what I'm talking about is that there was a channel that was installed, and that channel has been there since the 20th century, and it's part of a mitigation action to prevent very, very damaged, lethal level floods for what was identified as a floodplain area at the time that that channel was created and then constructed. What bothers me about this whole conversation is that Clark County Commissioner and Governor candidate Steve Sisolak makes it sound like it's this really easy thing to do, to turn around and just, turn around and just spend $1 million, okay? And, oh, by the way, I really encourage everybody to, I keep saying it's double shares night, all right? But, I mean, at least buy me a Coca-Cola, all right? Or you know, something like that. I'm being honest here. But point I'm making is that the situation is that we have this story that it's easy to build a whole new drainage channel, and that the drainage channel is going to not be an issue. Really, okay? And I'm doing something right now that I have not done before. I'm going to look up the cost to buy to build a drainage channel. I'm typing in Google drainage channel construction cost, okay? Drainage channel construction cost. That's what I'm typing. And say I'm going to type Nevada flood drainage channel construction cost, and there is something from the regional flood control district I just happened to find. Images for Nevada flood drainage channel. These things are huge. Let me show you how large. Hey, thank you for the investment, Mr. Stone. Let me show you how large this is. You see, this is the North Las Vegas Airport flood control. All right? See that? Okay. North Las Vegas Airport flood control. And that, I really want you to take note of what I'm about to show you, okay? I just want you to take note of what I'm about to show you here. Look at how big this thing is. All right, now this is North Las Vegas Airport flood control. See what we've got going here. All right. This is Sigma Engineering Solutions, North Las Vegas Airport flood control channel improvements. All right. And it discusses the improvements. It doesn't give a price tag. Oh, wait a minute. It does give a price tag, okay? Let's read in detail what we're talking about. Sigma designed and prepared project plans, specifications, and construction cost estimates for flood channel improvements located at the North Las Vegas Airport. These improvements address two major hazards associated with flood control. The first hazard involved frequent flooding of the V-ditch storm drain adjacent to taxiway B in the aircraft parking area. The second hazard involved multiple incidents of aircraft and vehicles rolling out of the designated travel lane and into the open channels. Wow. Sigma tasks include coordination. All right, this is what all that costs. $4.5 million. Okay? $4.5 million. So you tell me something. This is something that I'm going to nail on Steve Sisolak's Twitter account. If that costs $4.5 million, how the hell can you tell me that a full-blown movement of a drainage dish is just going to cost $1 million? No. Oh, it's just going to cost $1 million. This is $4.5 million alone. Okay, now look. I just did that randomly. This was not planned. I didn't know what I was going to find. You could do the same thing. You just saw me do it. It's on camera here. All right? So, that's outrageous. Just outrageous. That is outrageous. All you have to do is, I feel like one of those 9/11 truthers, is type Nevada flood drainage channel construction cost. That's all you have to do, okay? And you've got, there's another one I found. It's called Regional Flood Control District. This was July 14th, 2007. Now I'm going to get back to the A's issue, but what the gentleman, for those of you who just joined me, is talking about is the Las Vegas site at Russell Road and I-15 for the Raiders, and this drainage channel that runs through the north end of the property, the north diagonal part of the property. That's what he's talking about. And the Regional Flood Control District released its annual report 2007-2008, okay? Now, and it talked about, what I'm looking for is a budget. Like total project funding through fiscal year 07-08. And that's page 32. So let's just scroll down to page 32 and see what we find. I'm looking at this right now on my computer. It's 30, 31, and then 32, okay? We've got maintenance work expenditures, Clark County, $1 million, Boulder City, $102,000, all right, unaudited, okay? And this is, they don't really give much of a budget here. They've got total project funding. Okay, this is in millions of dollars. Clark County, the total project funding for Clark County, no, this is for flood control, all right? $635.7 million. That's for Clark County alone. So you can't tell me that a drainage channel is just $1 million affair. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that at all. So we've got, let's see here, floodplain management news for Nevada, and then there's the Clark County Flood Control District. Another PDF. This is a report that I found. And it's a 90-page report entitled 10-year. Let me show you what I'm looking at here, okay? Please bear with me here, and I'll discuss Ballpark, but this actually is, in a sense, related, though indirectly. Now, 10-year construction program, Regional Flood Control District, right? So, fiscal year, ooh, wait a minute. Look at this. Ooh. Fiscal year 2013 through fiscal year 2022. All right. Now, look at this. All right. Let's see here. Adopted June 14th, 2012. This is a 10-year construction program. Let's see what we find. Let's see what we find. We got typical annual expenditures of maintenance, pay as you go. Let's see if we're talking about, let's see, channels. Flood control district sales tax. That's the budget minutia that, you know, the flood control nerds are going to be into. But hold on a second. I think I'm about to become a flood control nerd. That's prorated share spending. Clark County gets 29%. Fine. And what I'm looking for are This maintenance work program there. I'm looking for anything that has local drainage program, right? I'm looking for anything that discusses channel. Okay, let me see here. They funded 2 new drainage projects in Clark County: Annie Oakley Drive, storm drain. That was the estimated completion date for 2012. And the City of Las Vegas Concord Street Dam. They had Cary Avenue in 2009. They had Olive Street there. What I'm looking for are the ballpark costs. Okay, during its 11th year of this program, the district budgeted $500,000 for local drainage projects. Projected local drainage program funding for this is depicted in the chart on the next page. All right, now that doesn't mean that's the total cost, just means it's additional. Maybe, okay, wait a minute. Fiscal year, factor, approved budget, local drainage budget projection, $500,000 there. Total estimated local drainage over 10 years, $5 million. So it says the TIC presented in this document presents the district's and entities' work plan for the coming years. Now that apparently is just the maintenance, so, but not new construction. What I'm looking for is new construction, because I'm certain that $1 million is a lot, is an undercount. Okay, we have the, okay, see, for example, over the 10-year construction program, total budget for that is $528 million. All right, and the estimated cost of facilities presented in the master plan for all of Clark County is $3,976 million. All right, so these are all the areas: storm drains, tension basin. The way this report was written, it's not crystal. All right, and it's not crystal at all. Now I'm looking, that's Henderson. I'm looking for Clark County. Henderson continued. Henderson continued. There's Las Vegas. And I'm looking for Clark County. And I'm going to keep going. Bear with me. Or maybe I should ask you to just kind of nerd out with me on this just for a bit, all right? You know, it's a lot of projects for Vegas. I'm letting Vegas fly back because I'm looking for I'm looking for Clark County. And maybe if this is in alphabetical order, I may have flown right by it. Hold on a second, folks. Let me try something here. Get that. Let me go back here. Vegas continued. North Los. Yeah, that's in alphabetical order. So let's go up. That's Vegas. Henderson's with an H. So that's Henderson with an H. And it doesn't list Clark County there like it should. It lists Vegas, but see, the part of Clark County I'm talking about is unincorporated. So maybe the U as at Clark County, Duck Creek, Blue Diamond planning area, Tropicana, Flamingo planning areas, outlying areas. We found it. All right. So Las Vegas Valley, Annie Oakley, Blue Diamond, Cary Avenue, Desert Inn Detention, Basin Collection System and Outfall, Dutch Creek, Mountain Vista, Railroad Detention Basin, Phase 1-2 Lower Pittman, Clark County continued, Dutch Creek, Topaz, Durango Collector, Flamingo, Washington, at Boulder, and then there's Lakes Detention as Hickam, and then there's Las Vegas Boulevard, Lower Blue Diamond, Muddy River, Ballhide, Red Couch, Sloan Channel, Tennyson. Okay, so we've got Tropicana, Washington at Stevenson Street, and I believe that's what we're looking for. Tropicana Flamingo Washes projects. So in there, what I'm looking for now are the costs. What I'm looking for basically is the ballpark. Okay, so those are very okay. The district. This is a look. District funding since 1987 for projects plus design efforts of future projects total $432,387,000 and 578 cents. 570. Excuse me. $432,378,578. No cents. Sorry about that. Okay. We have design underway for Tropicana Lower Flamingo, Las Vegas Wash, confluence to Charleston Boulevard. That consists of open channel improvements, extending from the confluence with Flamingo to Charleston Boulevard. That construction funding is programmed. That's $23 million alone. All right, here's Rag Trail Channel, Sunset Road to Tico. And that project includes a 10x6 reinforced concrete box culvert in Paucion Street extending from Sunset to Tico Avenue, design and right-of-way acquisition program. Construction funding is program fiscal year. The TIC includes, that's $1.6 million. So already we're at $1.6 million for something that sounds, similar, right? So my point is that, I'm going to stop there. We're getting an idea of what this cost is, and it's more than just $1 million. But it's not the cost; it's the time it takes to, from start to finish, realize moving the channel. I'm going to find an expert on this, talk to she or he, and see if they can give me a better understanding of what this entails. But it's not and exactly how to think about it, because this is not the throwaway, easy problem that Commissioner Sisolak paints it to be. And he should not do so. I'm going to save this study. Remember, I just did all this on the fly, thanks to the question, okay? There. And I appreciate that question. Now, let's go back to your comments as well. We've got, I lost everybody. I think I so nerded out I lost all the other people, but whatever. That happens. We've got, let's see here. We've got, what am I missing here? Okay. We have Lamont Stone, Brooklyn Basin project will go very well with this stadium. I was just at Queens yesterday. Yes, it will. And Harry Dunn says, yes, the A's are finally doing something exciting. Crawford says, will there be renderings or will that be a later date? I'll have a better idea tomorrow. And Hennessy says, and let's remember, Raiders have not signed the relocation agreement yet, as I pointed out. If they were really committed to Las Vegas, they would have signed it already. Think about that, people. Thank you. And Silver and Black says, maybe the A's will release a ballpark design at the restaurant. And Rick Rice says, sounds like this is the time to strike to keep the Raiders in Oakland. Joshua Stevens says, I like the new stadium layout as well. And let's see here. We've got Miguel Venezuela says, can Mark Davis really go back on the Raiders' commitment to Vegas, even though the NFL already approved the move? Well, they approved the move, Miguel, but that doesn't mean the Raiders have to go through the move if it's going to cost them money that they, in the long run, well, really short one too, they can't afford. So there's a difference between approving a move and having to do a move. Again, as we've talked about before, Las Vegas, the Raiders have not signed their non-relocation agreement, and more important, the Raiders have not yet turned over the land they bought to the stadium authority. Okay? So, two things to consider. And so, and Joshua Stevens is back. He's in Seattle with his wife and 2 kids. Welcome back. Welcome back, Joshua. And Crawford says, the Raiders and the NFL is running out of excuses. Put up or shut up. Donald Richardson says, I think that Laney is the best spot, period. Because you are in walking distance of Oakland's Chinatown. And John Marks says, KTVU just announced Oakland's site. Yep. And Don Richardson says, just FYI, there are BART shuttles that already go to and from Howard Terminal. Yeah, there are. That's true. There are, because those shuttles lead up Broadway to 12th Street. And there's a nice spine there that would have really benefited from the baseball activity, baseball patron activity all along there. Marshawn Lynch would have loved it. He's got his Beast Mode store along there, right? So, there, beneath 32 Assassin, there's your discussion regarding the culvert. And S. Barbecue says, do you believe Davis and Dave Cavall? I believe in Jesus Christ. I like Dave Cavall. I think Dave has done a great job as A's president. But I believe in Jesus Christ. Lamont Stone, I got his comment out of the way. And we have Joshua says, Zinni says Raiders may stay in Oakland. Yes, Joshua agrees. And, hey, like I say, please invest. There you go. Now, we got, let's see here. Prayers to the Oakland Raiders staying in Oakland. Ethan Scott says, have the A's decided on a new location yet? Yes, I just turned in, so I don't know if you've covered it or not. Yes, 831 Scott, they decided on a new location. In fact, also, speaking of locations, let me check something. Oh, let's see here. Okay, I've got that. Alright. I'm not getting anything about press conference, just got that. No more update from the A's at all. However, let's check the A's website, Oakland A's. Let's see something. A's. Go to all. Oakland Athletics. That's the tickets. Oh, the Red Sox shelled them. Oh my goodness. Shelled them. Oh my gosh. Horrible. Horrible. Official Oakland Athletics website. Major League Baseball. Okay. A's will host free games for fans. Nothing about the stadium yet. At all. Nothing about the stadium yet at all. At all. Nothing there, okay? So, you would think it would come up there. Nothing there yet, alright? Now we've got prayers to the Oakland Raiders staying in Oakland. John Mark says, does Steve Sisolak share ownership of the Green Bay Packers? Yes. Lamont Stone says, Zinni, do you watch Ballers? I haven't yet. Kook Snipe says, side note, sent you an email if you can let me know when you have a chance. Yeah, I got the emails. More doing, you want me to discuss the, okay, here, folks, there's newsflash. I think there's a raffle that there are people who want to do to help me out, basically, in terms of raising money, much needed money. And it's the raffle, let me read off to you what this exciting event will entail. And I'm opening the flyer right now. And once it is completely open, I will show it to you. Let's see here. It is, let's see here. Sometimes when I open preview, it asks me if I want to open these other windows, and I don't. Just give me what I pushed to be open. And we've got this opening. Oh, here we go. Look at this. This is the raffle, folks. In support of Zinni62, we are raffling off this We Run This State shirt in the frame autographed by Bill Romanowski. All proceeds are going to Zinni62 Media. Oh, thank you so very much. And so, $1 1 ticket, $5 10 tickets. Thank you. And we run this state. There it is. Raider Nation. I love it. You know, I love it. I really love it. This has been a tough year, folks. Just have to be honest. It's been a tough year, and I'm trying to do things with mirrors. Really, just trying to do things with mirrors these days, and that's it. And on top of that, our property fortunately survived Hurricane Irma when it hit Atlanta, but I've got to go back and clean up what is a whole swath of debris that's blocking our driveway so that we can get in and out of the house. And then I've got to do a site check and everything else. So, and I'm going to do that when my mom's in Chicago. So I've got, wow, boy. I got a lot on me, folks. So I really appreciate this a lot. And I try to deliver this not only deliver this every night between Sunday and Thursday, but I try to give you a point of view. No, it's not just my point of view, but I like to read off what you put out there as well. In fact, you know what? Having said that, I'm going to have some fun tonight. I've always said I was going to do this. I could just do it with a push of a button. So why the heck not? We always talk about talk radio, right? And how talk radio's on the internet, and you can do all this stuff now with radio on the internet and all this jazz and discussions, right? And all that yada 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 BS that people talk about. I'm trying to work with these wires without knocking you guys over. Have you ever noticed how wires like to connect, and how wires like to basically hug around each other and make it very difficult for you to do what you have to do, because the wires are almost like, you think, how did that wire that was over here suddenly wind its way around that other wire over there? Never ceases to amaze me about wires, but I digress. All right, so I'm plugging this in, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to call in. If you're on Skype and you want to make a comment about the A's news tonight, you can call in. Now, I am going to focus this on people who are already on Skype. Like, for example, if Octavio is in or whoever, or if you want to call in, just give me a heads up right here and say I'm going to call in. Because you call in, I'll see that you can just dial in. I'll you know how to get a hold of me if we're already connected. And okay, so now there's a celebrate. Dorian is already saying shots of Patron. But my Skype is still opening up here. It's a little slow. And I think what I'm going to have to do is, okay, now it's opening. And there. And okay, so let's see here. Skip that version. Wires are a hoax. Harry Dunn asked, do you think Mark Davis will talk to Oakland in regards to today's announcement? I think if he's approached, okay? So I already got a contact request from Grizz Jones. So, and John Marks asked, my mom is fine, thank you. Very well. Lamont says, Ballers is all about the Vegas move this season. Very interesting. And so, folks, if you want to call in, I'm at just fine at Skype Zinny62 and call. That's all you have to do. Then I'm going to give priority to people that I know. Priority to people know. But if you call, they'll hear you right now, and you can talk about your view of this news. So there you go. And I don't know if Octavio's around. Octavio usually is there. And 831 Scott says, what location do the A's select? Laney College. That's what they selected. And Laney College. So, also, I encourage you to... Hey, Kook Snipe usually invests, I guess. Is everybody tapped out now? Wow. I don't blame Kook Snipe for being the guy who's like, you know what? I put enough into this. I'm tired. Laney College. Now, this is interesting. Harry Dunn says, funny how the A's announced this right before the Raiders' home opener. Yeah. Rick Rice says, do the hotline bling dance and people will call. Nah, I'm not going to do that. You call. You know what? That was your idea. You call. You know what? You call. I ain't doing no hotline bling dance. I only do a hotline bling dance when people invest, unlike you have not invested. So I'm just pointing out a truism. Mr. Hawaii, Mr. Hawaii, or Hawaii 5-0. You know, that's going to be your nickname from now on. It's not going to be a name. It's going to be a tune. That would be for Rick Rice. All right, funny how. All right, so we've got the Lamont Stone is there. Oh, Jason McGlinda says, did I see the great public service announcement today by Bergman Law Firm on Channel 5? It was a great commercial about keeping the teams in Oakland. No, I didn't see that. But thanks for the tip. I'll seek them out. It'd be fun to have them on the show. Definitely a lot of fun to have them on the show. And let's see here. We've got oh, wait a minute here. We've got Go Warriors. I think Go Warriors asleep. New contact request from Grizz Jones, but I thought Grizz was asleep. And I'll accept it. I'll accept it. He tried calling earlier. Wow. Greg Jones would like to add you on Skype. So that was done. That was done. Now, going back to Joshua Stevens says, yes, amen, amen. And 831 Scott says, oh, Harry Dunn says, looks like the A's are hoping for a 2023 opening. That's correct. And we've got, let's see here. 831 Scott says, I wish it was Howard Terminal on the waterfront. I do too. I like the idea of Howard Terminal once I got over the whole infrastructure cost issue. But you know what? This idea has its qualities as well. But 831 Scott says, I wish it was Howard Terminal on the waterfront, but a new ballpark is a new ballpark. I'm excited either way. Now, having said that, don't think there isn't any artist rendition at all. Let me show you what the configuration was supposed to look like, okay? This goes back to 2001. Oakland Athletics Ballpark. Oh, come on, Zenny. Park Study 2001. All right. And shows come up PDF. Oakland Ballpark Watch HOK Executive Summary. And here's the full executive report right here, which I'm going to take you through. Folks, this is the full executive report, all right, of the sites. So this is what came out in 2001. There, all right? There it is. So Oakland Athletics Executive Summary, okay? And I'm going to bypass the wording and the verbiage and ballpark program and site requirements because I want to show you the diagrams. There. Oh, this is very, okay, this is the Uptown plan. This was the most favorite one. That is what is now the Uber headquarters. This is Uptown Apartments, and there's a park over here. This was where the ballpark was going to be, right smack in the middle of downtown Oakland. Okay? All right? And then this is the Howard Terminal plan. Howard Terminal on the water here, all right? So we can, I believe, no, we can't. I thought maybe I could click on that and make it get bigger, but I can't. Here's an alternative one with, as you can tell, this is a convention center version. And this is more mixed use, all right? This one, this is the Laney College plan. So here's your Laney College plan right here, okay? There is, if we look closely here, that's 16th Street, that's 7th Street, that's the new track. This is the estuary that runs along, okay? And if you look closer, you'll discover that right here, you see that? That's the Oakland Auditorium. So the rest of downtown is in this direction. This is Laney College right here. So that's the ball field. All right? The auditorium is here where the Warriors had their celebration, and the lake is here, all right? So that's what that looks like. That's the Laney College plan, okay? All right? That's the Laney College plan. Okay? This one is Coliseum. This is what the A's originally wanted, and the Raiders objected to. But it would have left the Raiders with this stadium, ironically enough, with the baseball diamond in it, and the baseball stadium next to it. Boy, show that to the Raiders, they grow ape. Or I should say win ape. This is 9th to Oak. This is the other one I was talking about. This is what's going to be Brooklyn Basin now, but this is owned by J.W. Severa here and here. JW wasn't too keen on this one, all right? And this one is the Fremont plan for Fremont, down by the BART station. This is the Pleasanton plan, okay? So these are how these graded out, all right? Basically, Howard Terminal, this is Uptown, and the grand total for development Uptown was, I believe I can zoom this in here, all right? Like there we go, all right? $385 million. This is 2001, okay? All right? And look at this. Howard Terminal was, you see this? This was $517 million, okay? Oak to 9th was even more expensive, but Laney College was $605,000. So Laney College was actually more expensive than Howard Terminal. Laney College was more expensive than Howard Terminal, all right? Uptown was the least expensive of them. What was the difference? Well, let's take a look here. The main difference was parking. Howard Terminal here, Laney College almost double the cost, okay? And traffic improvements, Howard Terminal just slightly more expensive. But really it's parking. Now, acquisition, also, Laney College was far more expensive. This is the other issue I had with Laney College. Acquisition of land was $76 million. Howard Terminal was $37 million. Okay? All right? So that's why. Now, what's not included here is land prep. And land prep made Howard Terminal more expensive in the second go-round because it was on a container land, all right? So you had the ability to meet schedule. Uptown, Howard Terminal, Laney College graded out as a 1. Uptown was a 7. Howard Terminal 7 is pretty good. Oak to 9th 7, Coliseum 7, Fremont 7, Pleasanton. This was the worst. This was the worst, okay? So, let's keep going on with this. Oh, yeah, well, there it is, okay? So, there it is. So, that was the worst. So, we're looking at, this brings back some memories. Look, we're looking at, basically, the A's have selected, Laney College, which actually costs more, according to this study, to prepare than Howard Terminal. But what put Howard Terminal over in later iterations of the analysis was land prep, and land prep wasn't on this. This is And I'm going back over to see, because I remember when we ran through the numbers initially, we talked about what was missing. And Howard Terminal is a container site. What was missing is the toxic cleanup that has to be done at Howard Terminal. And then that toxic cleanup put Howard Terminal in a different category. So that was left out here. That was left out here. So you've got, on a scale of 1 to 7, 7 being the best, 1 not, Uptown got a 35, Howard Terminal 22, Laney College 14, Oak to Ninth 15, Coliseum 27, Fremont 25, Pleasanton 19. So Laney College scored out as the worst of all the sites, and yet that's the one the A's are selecting. Keep that in mind. Now, keep that in mind. They can't select Uptown. It's not available. But even without Uptown, Laney College scored out the worst. Howard Terminal scored better. Site factors, Laney College was a 3 versus Howard Terminal. Howard Terminal scored a 2 in terms of site factors. Laney College scored out better in terms of site factors here than Howard Terminal. Okay? Transportation, Howard Terminal scored a 4 over Laney College's 3. And urban design, Howard Terminal scored out a 6 because it's on the water over Laney College's 4. But timing, Howard Terminal was far better. 7 to 1. Wow. So we've got, far better. And so let me go back over what this prepared. This was interesting. So the ballpark program, what the A's were proposing at the time, single-purpose baseball, 42,000 seats, 60 private suites, 10 party suites, 4,000 club seats on second club level, 3,000 general admission seats, 40,000 square foot administrative office complex, 2 restaurants, 100-car parking area for players and administrative staff on site, 12,000 square feet of retail, 200-seat picnic area, 5,000 square feet family entertainment center, 10,000 square foot convention center, and 1.15 million square foot building. Okay, so that was the site area requirements. They said desirable was 15 acres. The minimum was 10.5 acres. I might add that Deshaun's project was smaller than that, so it wouldn't have made the minimum requirement for the A's going back to 2001. Talking about Deshaun's Dixon's design concept. So we have the site factors were site size, configuration, field orientation options, topography, utilities, demolition issues, historic structures, environmental issues, zoning, and regulatory factors. Okay? And so it says a ranking of 7 indicates that a given site meets the site program and selection criteria in a way that is superior or equal to or other sites. A ranking of 1 indicates that a site is the least advantageous location in a particular category. The intent is to establish an objective ranking system rather than debate where a site is a 5 or a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10. All right? So that's where that came from. Now, and then I already went through the ranking criteria with you, and I showed you the designs of the sites, layouts that you've seen all of them. You understand now where the ballpark is oriented with respect to Laney College and the Oakland Auditorium and the rest of downtown and the site cost. And again, Howard Terminal in 2001 was at $517 million. Laney College was at $605 million, and the major difference was land acquisition and parking. Parking for Laney College, $132 million. Howard Terminal, $75 million. Acquisition costs for Howard Terminal were $37 million. For Laney College, $76 million. So basically, Laney College is almost $100 million more expensive than Howard Terminal, and yet the A's chose Howard Terminal. And so it has to, there's that site factor has to have been the key. And so, in the issue, okay? That really has to have been the issue. So there you go. Let me go back to your comments. Okay, we are here. We've got... All right, you guys are not talking about... Henry Dunn says the environmental process is why the Warriors couldn't build on Piers 32-32. Harry Dunn says, Zinni, the problem with Howard Terminal is that the environmental approvals would take forever and they would have to move power plant on the site. I get that, Harry, but here's the thing, okay? Riddle me this. If that's the case, then why is it that Laney College grades out from a site perspective in this way? You've got, going back over the grid that I read to you, it's got, okay, we know Uptown doesn't exist, but Howard Terminal site factors are 2. Well, here's what you mean. Site factors are 2 for Howard Terminal, Laney College is a 3. Okay, that's what you're referring to, I believe. But it's just a 2 versus a 3. It's not much. And again, I point out to you that when you think about land acquisition and parking, Laney College is more expensive than Howard Terminal. Now, did something happen to change that? This study was done in 2001. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. I'm not upset. I'm glad we're making this move. Significant progress. Rick Rice says, hey, Zinni, tell us about what you learned at the 9/11 Truthers meeting. That's got nothing to do with us. Rick Rice, I'll tell you what. I'll do it if you invest. Right here, okay? There. You invest, I'll tell you. Harry Dunn says, I think Laney is higher than a 3. No, it's, hey, Harry, this study you can get, I mean, look. This study you can get yourself. Look. Uptown, okay? Urban design, 7. Transportation, 7. Site factor, 7. Cost, 7. Timing, 7. Grand total, 35. Howard Terminal. Urban design, 6. Transportation, 4. Site factors, 2. Cost, 3. Timing, 7. Grand total, 32. Laney College. Urban design, 4. Transportation, 3. Site factors, 3. Cost, 3. Timing, 1. 14. All right? 14. Okay? Coliseum squared out, 27. Cost, timing being factors, all right? So, this is a 3 in terms of cost versus, this is the same. Site factors, 2 versus a 3. Okay? So it'll be really fascinating to, talk to Mr. Cavill about that tomorrow, or I should say today. And Harry says, did they factor the transportation infrastructure costs when doing the Howard Terminal? They would have to build pedestrian bridges and makeshift BART station to work, which would cost millions. Hey, Harry, that discussion about BART occurred, let's see, we're talking about a study that was occurred 17 years ago. And the upshot was that there was a great deal to be realized from having pedestrians get off at 12th Street BART and walk down Broadway, which is about a 5-block walk total. I've done it a bunch of times. It is not at all hard walk to do. Also, AC Transit ably serves the Broadway spine going down to Jack London with the 51 and the 12 and the 72 buses. So, regardless of whether you were in fantastic shape or disabled, you were able and are able to go from 12th Street, Oakland City Center BART to Jack London Square and then just kick on over well, 3 blocks to the area where Howard Terminal is located. So it wasn't a problem at all, such that you needed BART to come down there. You really didn't. You really didn't. However, another idea was floated that since the death of redevelopment has been all but killed, and that's reviving the Oakland streetcar program. Going back to the 20s, Oakland had and through the 40s, Oakland had great streetcars that ran up and down Broadway. In fact, let me show you something here. I mean, this is worth taking a look at. Oakland streetcars. Oakland streetcars. Okay, images. This is what was discussed for Oakland a few years ago, 2010, and talking about a kind of plan for streetcars in Oakland. Right here. Okay. Jack London Square. This was the terminus, and they would go up. There's downtown. There's BART. Okay. And then further north. This spine right here is also transversed as I speak by the free AC Transit bus shuttle right now. So there are a number of ways of squaring the circle, ways of solving the problem of getting people down the Jack London. But what you want in planning for a ballpark is you want to think in terms of Disneyland. The ballpark is the carrot, okay? And the stick is Broadway itself. So you're leading people along the stick to get the carrot. And as they go along the stick, they find these different amenities to go into. There's Starbucks over here, there's the Buttercup over there, and so on. Buttercup's a great restaurant near Jack London Square. And then, of course, there's Everett and Jones Barbecue. Jack London Inn has a great breakfast. You get the idea. And, of course, there's the Plank. So you've got all these places to go to on the way to the ballpark. You get there early, hang out in one of the places, then walk over to the ballpark. That's the idea. So if you have BART running closer, that eliminates that. You see what I'm getting at, Harry? So Harry says, interesting ideas. And he said, thanks. It wasn't my idea, but yeah, it was an interesting idea. It's very tearfully sad that plan and that I showed you, among others, has just frankly died on the vine of the death of redevelopment as it was practiced, as it was allowed and practiced in the state of California until 2012. Now it's back, though, but we don't have an administration that understands how to pull the levers of government to make revived redevelopment work. So, okay, so we got Ricky Henderson was a baseball guy. All right, cool. Okay, so, and we have Steve Collins says United States Army Corps of Engineers won't get the project for years. And I got to nail that one down. That has to do with the Vegas issue. So, okay, so we've got invest. I'm going to, it is 12:03 now, which is 3 o'clock in the East. There's 21. Welcome to Zenny62 who just joined us. We have 18. Every time I think, okay, it's time to end this because no one's interested, 3 more people show up, or 4, or 10, and they're all back. But I need to get rest to get ready for the morning because I want to hop on what the A's are cooking, and get it out there. All right, so I'm going to bid adieu to everybody. Thank you all for your time, and hey, invest. It's too bad. Kook Snipers Invest, we had the raffle and everything, and I think if I get fewer activities, I may pull back or try something different because I really need to generate revenue here. And there's an A's press conference, and some of you and I really appreciate your viewing and everything, but it's like there's only a handful that have invested, and that handful is sort of carrying it for the rest of you who haven't even tried. So I may just take some time off and reconfigure things just so that I can have a better performing result. Because what happens is that this is a small group of people, and I really appreciate it, but spread the word, bring more people in, make the numbers higher, and then I'll have an incentive to really do this. But this is not, it's not going in the direction that I want it to go. Now, 831 Scott invests, but for example, people like Rick Rice don't, and there's no reason for that. So, I mean, the amount of money you would spend on a beer, hey, invest here as well, make it happen. So, yeah, says John Mark says, Zenny, do what you need to do, and I'm going to do that. Anyway, I'm going to go to bed right now. Good night, everybody. Thank you. I'll see you. Okay.